Welcome back to Top 5.
In an arena bathed in the shimmering glow of ethereal lights, a crowd of spectators buzzed with anticipation. The stage was set for an epic showdown between two vastly different characters from opposing worlds and narratives, Usagi Tsukino, the iconic Sailor Moon, and Ken Kaneki, the enigmatic half-ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul. Fans from both franchises filled the stands, eagerly discussing the capabilities and strategies their respective heroes would employ. At one end of the arena stood Usagi Tsukino, the guardian of love and justice. Dressed in her signature fuku, her long, golden pigtails swayed gracefully in the light breeze. Usagi was powered by the strength of the silver crystal, her spirit emanating unwavering confidence along with that of her fellow sailor guardians. She radiated determination, knowing that her mission was to protect the world from evil. In her heart, she carried the pure essence of hope, an unwavering resolve to uphold her ideals against any darkness that threatened her existence. Across the arena, Ken Kaneki surveyed his opponent. Clad in black, his appearance spoke of a darker, grimmer reality. The world he came from was wrought with bloodshed, and he carried the burden of transformation. Not only was he a college student turned half-ghoul, but he was also a warrior who had faced extreme adversity. His ghoul powers, derived from his unique heritage, allowed him to effortlessly heal from injuries and exhibit unimaginable speed and strength. His ghoul mask was stowed away, but the presence of his kakuho, an organ that allowed him to consume human flesh, hinted at the darkness he could unleash in battle. He was prepared to fight for survival and protect those he cared about, his resolve hardened by the cruelties he had faced. As the signal for the start of the match rang out, the crowd fell silent, each fan's breath held in collective anticipation. Usagi stood resolute, raising her hand to the sky, the familiar incantation spilling from her lips, Moon Tiara Magic. Her tiara glimmered brightly before she hurled it at Kaneki. The projectile spun through the air like a comet, its trajectory aimed directly at his heart. In a peak of reflex, Kaneki twisted, dodging the weapon by mere inches, his instincts honed by countless battles for survival. He countered with his own speed, closing the distance between them in a heartbeat. With razor-sharp reflexes and the agility of a predator, he lunged toward Usagi, his intention to unleash a volley of rapid slashes. But Usagi, fueled by emotions akin to love and friendship, summoned the power of the silver crystal to shield herself. A barrier of shimmering light enveloped Usagi, absorbing Kaneki's strikes. The impact resounded like thunder, each strike ringing through the arena, a blend of sound and light cascading off Usagi's barrier. The audience gasped, witnessing the sheer clash of power between light and darkness. Usagi summoned the power of her friends, standing tall even against the dire circumstances. "Ken Kaneki," she called out, steadying her breaths. "I don't want to fight you. I know there's a part of you that longs for peace, just like we all do. Let's end this conflict." Kaneki paused momentarily, a flicker of hesitation crossing his eyes. No one had ever empathized with him in such a way. The pain of his ghoul existence weighed heavily on him, loneliness and despair faded into a dawning realization that this fight was symptomatic of something deeper. Still, the darkness within him stirred, the urge to fight taking precedence. "You don't understand." Ken shouted back, his voice resonating with both anger and a smidgen of vulnerability. "True peace is merely an illusion. People like me aren't meant to be saved." The arena trembled as the clash of ideals erupted into physical confrontation once more. Usagi, channeling her most powerful serenades, spun gracefully, shining tiara taking form in an expanded cosmic glow. "Moon Scepter Elimination," she cried out, unleashing a brilliant beam of light toward him. The spell cut through the arena, illuminating the minds of spectators and casting away shadows of doubt. Kaneki, grit teeth, prepared himself, drawing upon the ghoul powers he had so carefully honed. Focusing his strength, he unleashed his Kagun, his ghoul attributes sprouted forth with terrifying elegance and savage beauty, a manifestation of his inner turmoil. With his black tentacle-like appendages, Kaneki countered the incoming light, meeting it with a protective barrier of his own. The two forces collided, creating a blinding explosion that shook the very ground beneath them. Dust and shards sparked amid the ensuing chaos. Kaneki, overwhelmed by the light, embraced the pain, pushing back against the elements while simultaneously focusing on Usagi's presence. A new resolve surged within him. Focusing on Usagi, he launched himself with athletic grace through the debris, propelled by drumming heartbeats urging him onward. I won't let you end this without knowing the truth. His voice boomed, raw emotion fueling his intent. Usagi could feel the surging chaos around her, yet she was unfazed. Stepping forward, she invoked the raw energy of the silver crystal once more. I believe in you, Kaneki. That darkness can't claim you. In that pivotal moment, her words resonated deeply within the chaos of his mind. Just as the brilliant light of hope surged once more, Kaneki clenched his fists, bridled by conflicting emotions tearing at his heart. With a flick of his wrist, darkness erupted, a swirling tempest. I am both monster and human. You can't stop what I've become. With renewed vigor, they charged towards one another, light and shadow in the arena turning into a fierce battle of wills, masochistic and mesmerizing at once. The very fabric of the world bent against the intensity of their paths colliding. The flickering exchanges of strikes and counters dazzled the viewers, Usagi's radiant maneuvers clashing with Ken's raw ferocity. With one last push, she launched herself high into the air, a trajectory that signaled her final move, inspired by the passion of her friends. I won't give up on you. In a breathtaking descent, she unleashed a flurry of purifying strikes, punctuated by the forceful, stunning crescent moon that split the night sky. The explosion of light engulfed Kaneki, drawing him into a whirlwind of hope and determination. Under the brilliant dome of brilliance, Usagi made her final plea, her heart and soul poured into every note of her incantation. In the name of the moon, I will punish you. And in that moment, as the brilliance of her light enveloped him, something within Kaneki cracked, a flicker of the humanity he thought was lost rose through the darkness. As powerful as his ghoul side was, the warmth of Usagi's resolve swept over him, igniting remnants of his soul. Yet, hell-bent on resisting what he viewed as weakness, his instincts kicked in. With one final surge of his strength, he countered one last time, but the overwhelming essence of hope Usagi embodied proved stronger. Usagi's relentless light surged forth, enveloping Kaneki and dispersing the shadows, a radiant wave of love overwhelming him. As the blinding brightness enveloped him, he felt the darkness slip away, surrendering to the flow of something he desperately yearned for. And then, amidst the rekindled essence of empathy and hope, there was silence. As the brilliance faded, it revealed the truth. Usagi Tsukino stood triumphant atop the remains of their clash, her heart ringing with the sound of victory tempered by the bittersweet acknowledgement of the struggle they both endured. Though Kaneki had lost physically, deep inside, a flicker of his humanity began to awaken, suggesting that no encounter would ever be truly forgotten. In that moment, as the crowd erupted into cheers, Usagi looked down at her opponent with empathy. You aren't alone, Kaneki, she whispered, a promise forged in the arena, forever echoing among the stars. And while he had faltered in battle, the struggle for his soul had only just begun.